What is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here, and we are back with another day of sports betting. This is going to be for Monday, August 29th slate of MLB action. I'm super excited to dive into it. We did have a really good day yesterday. We won't spoil anything, but we will get into that here pretty soon. But before we did, I did just want to go ahead and say that we are still currently on the road to 7,000 subscribers. So if you guys are new, make sure that you guys do like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Also, did just want to go ahead and give a quick shout out here to all of our members here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do, and thank you guys so much for giving such a small channel such a big chance, as I always say. It truly does mean the absolute world to me, so much more than you guys will ever know. It means the absolute world to me. So today we do have about a 6 or 7 game slate. I think it's a much smaller slate than what we had as of yesterday, but you know, hopefully we can go ahead and find some winners here. I found 3 plays that I do think that I really like. Obviously, I have the one play that just makes no sense, but I do still like it. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. But before we did, just a quick word here from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by PrizePicks. If you guys don't currently have a sports book that you do use, or if you do have one and you're just looking for something new, PrizePicks is a great way to get started. As you guys can see here on the screen, we are able to bet on pretty much every single sport that you can think of. We have MLB, we have the NFL, as of right now is the preseason, we have college football, we even have things like CSGO and some esports as well. And obviously, as you guys know, I'm a huge NBA guy, so once the NBA season does come around, you guys will be able to bet on player props from there as well. PrizePicks is very easy to use. I do love the no-run first innings, and that is something that you can go ahead and bet on here on PrizePicks as well. It's an absolutely fantastic app and website as well. So if you guys haven't already signed up for PrizePicks, make sure that you guys do that and use code KingSanders, and you can go ahead and get a deposit match bonus of up to $100. So the way that it does work is you go ahead and pick a couple here. So I'm just going to, for the sake of the video, say that the White Sox and the Orioles tomorrow are going to have a no-run first inning. The Toronto and Boston and the Cincinnati and Philadelphia are all going to have no-run first inning. Basically what I would do, I would go ahead and click less for all of these and do what is called a power play, which is basically the same as a parlay. All 3 legs do have to hit in order for the bet to actually cash out. On the flip side of things, you can also do a flex play. The flex play basically means if you do get one of the legs wrong, that's perfectly fine. You can still win some money. So PrizePicks is a great way to be able to win some money using player props and things of that nature to be able to win some money. So you can put together a bunch of... And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I have finally decided that I am... Boom, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we are back here with the shades on, with the sunnies on, and you guys know exactly what that means. If you guys are new, basically this means that I went ahead and got a sweep. You guys can see that from the overlay as well. But we had a fantastic day yesterday. I'll go ahead and flash my action up here on screen, but it wasn't just in the MLB that I did pretty well. I actually went 4-1 overall on the day yesterday. About over 2.5 units yesterday made. I ended up betting on the 2 preseason NFL games as well, and I went ahead. I won the Giants one. I took the Giants spread. That one was pretty close. It was definitely sweaty, but Giant spread, I ended up taking that one. And then we also had, I took the underdog in the Pittsburgh game, and I kind of forgot that Pittsburgh technically has 2 decent NFL quarterbacks fighting for that starting position, in Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky. I should have known that, and I didn't, so I should have definitely taken the Steelers spread, but I sold the bag on that one for sure. Oh. But without any further ado, we'll go ahead and talk about our actual MLB plays of the day that we did have yesterday. Like I said, clean sweep, but let's just go ahead and talk about it just a little bit. We had the Washington Nationals plus 105 money line versus Cincinnati at plus 105 odds. That one ended up working out for us. The Washington, they ended up scoring 3 runs, but Cincinnati was only able to score 2. Cincinnati started out the game red hot. I think it was like 2-0 at the start of the game, but then Washington scored 3 straight. and there was no more runs scored throughout the whole game. So that one ended up working out for us. And then we had the Orioles and the Astros, NRFI. There was no runs until like the 7th inning in this game, so that one was an absolute no sweat bet. If you had first 5 under, and I think total game, I didn't check the final score of the game, but if you had the first 5 under for sure, then congratulations, because that was absolutely no sweat. And then we had the Rockies and the Mets under 7.5 runs. Well, there was 1 run scored all game, and it was by the Rockies. So there were so many underdogs that ended up winning as of yesterday. Hopefully it can be a similar situation, and we'll kind of talk about it here in a second. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's plays. Hopefully we can have something similar to what we had yesterday, or at least another winning day. So far we've been like either sweeps or we've been reverse sweeps. Like we've either been really good or really bad. So hopefully we can go ahead and make up for that today with another winning day. So without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and for our first play of the day, for the play that did not hit yesterday, we're going to be taking the Dodgers and the Marlins under 7 runs at -110 odds. Now, if you take a look at it, the Dodgers, obviously a great offense. There's no question about it whatsoever, but I do think that this line's low for a reason. First of all, the Dodgers are first when it comes to runs per game. There's no doubt about it. Great offense. But Miami is 27, so Miami is not a good offense by any stretch of the imagination. The Dodgers are also not only a good offense, but they're also a good defense. They're first when it comes to runs allowed, and that number even drops even more on the road. So they're an even better defense on the road. Miami is 14th when it comes to runs allowed, so definitely nothing too crazy, but it is kind of in that middle echelon there, so I do really like it. Also, the Dodgers, on the road, they actually have struggled here pretty recently at just scoring runs in general. Now, they did have 2 good games against the Marlins. They had an 8-run game and a 10-run game. But outside of that, if you look at their last 6 road games, they had a run log of 1, 3, 2, 4, 4, and 0. So I definitely think that it is in a really good spot here. If the Dodgers are going to be scoring that many, there's no chance that the Marlins are going to be scoring that many, I don't think. Also, Pablo Lopez is going to be on the mound here for Miami. He's definitely a pretty good pitcher, 3.66 ERA and a 4.36 at home. So he does pitch worse at home. Definitely not something that I love, but in his last 3 starts, he has had an earned run log of 0, 6, and 2 earned runs. So as long as he doesn't give up that 6, I think that we have a pretty good shot of hitting this under. And the Dodgers, I don't worry about them at all. But in case you needed a little bit more to persuade you in that direction, Tony Gonsolin's going to be on the mound here for the Dodgers. 2.10 ERA, 2.66 on the road, 1.57 in his last 5, with an earned run log of 1, 0, 1, 0, and 3 in earned runs in his last 5 starts. Tony Gonsolin's been fantastic, and I don't really foresee any of that changing. So, and when it comes to the bullpens, Miami, they are 19th in bullpen ERA. Definitely not great, but they are kind of in that middle tier, and they definitely can get it done. And the Dodgers, they're 3rd, so I don't worry about them whatsoever. And if you look at these 2 teams, they're actually quite good to the under. Dodgers, on the road, they are 34, 26, and 5 to the under. So whether, just in general, a lot of their road games do end up going under. And Miami, theirs is kind of a coin flip, 28, 28, and 5. So, at home at least. So, it's kind of going to be a coin flip when it comes to the Miami side of things, but I do think that the Dodgers can get it done, and I think that Pablo Lopez can hold off this Dodgers team at least enough. So that is going to be our first play of the day. Dodgers and the Marlins, under 7 runs at -110 odds. Now for our second play of the day, we're going to be taking the play that makes no sense. We're taking Boston money line here versus Minnesota at +115 odds. Now if you take a look at it, Minnesota, the much better team here, especially on the road, 38 and 28 to the money line on the road. So they actually are 10 above 500 on the road so far this year. Boston right at 500, 31 and 31 at home. Also, this is pretty much the only advantage that I foresee with Boston. They are a little bit of a better offense. They are 11th when it comes to runs per game. Minnesota is at that 15th spot. So it's not a huge advantage, but it is a little bit of one. And I think that's the only advantage for this bet. Minnesota is also a much better defense, 13th when it comes to runs allowed. Boston is 25th, so Boston is one of the worst defenses in the entire MLB. And Boston has an awful pitcher up. Brian Bello for Boston. 7.36 ERA, 9.64 on the road, and a 7 ERA in his last 5 starts. He has been really, really bad like abysmally bad. And so why in the world are they only plus 115? And it even gets better because they're going to be going up against Dylan Bundy. Dylan Bundy's actually been really solid here, 4.56 on the year, but he's been a great home pitcher, 2.68 ERA at home, 1.69 versus Boston so far this year, with an earned run log in his last 3 starts of 2, 1, and 0. Dylan Bundy has been really good in his last 3 starts, and especially just at home this year. So why in the world is Boston plus 115? I feel like it should be much more than that. And if you take a look at it, Minnesota is 14th when it comes to bullpen ERA. Boston's almost dead last, 27th. So once again, Minnesota also has the advantage in that one. Why is it only plus 115? I really just can't figure it out. But the books, a little bit of line reading here. Boston plus a half in the first 5, so to be tied or winning, is juiced to minus 125. Not only that, but the over 1.5 in the first 5 is minus 140. So they expect more than 2 runs to be scored by this Boston team in the first 5 at minus 140. And for the full game, over 3.5 is boosted all the way to minus 140 as well. So they expect at least 4 runs to be from this Boston team. So as long as Boston can kind of keep Minnesota in line, I definitely think they have a shot to win this game. So that is going to be our second play of the day. The play that does not make any sense, Boston money line here versus Minnesota at plus 115 odds. Now for our third and final play of the day, the play that I just really like, we're going to be taking the Phillies and the Diamondbacks under 9 runs at minus 110 odds. Now if you take a look at it, Philly, they are 6th when it comes to runs per game. So they are a very good offense. There's no doubt about that. But that number does drop by 0.37 runs per game on the road. So they're a much better hitting team at home as opposed to on the road. Arizona, they are also 16th when it comes to runs per game. So they have been really hot here recently, but I think that they are due for some negative regression here. I really do believe that. Philadelphia is also 10th when it comes to runs allowed. Arizona is 21st. So Philadelphia is actually a top 10 defense, which is basically what I'm trying to say. Arizona, they are 21st. So I do worry about Arizona's defense just a little bit, but I think that they can get it done. Ranger Suarez is going to be on the mound here for Philly as well. 3.38 ERA, 2.41 on the road though, so he has been way better on the road, and a 2.03 in his last 5. And if you look at his last 3 starts, he has 3, 0, and 1 earned runs. He's actually been very, very good here recently. And on the flip side of the mound for Arizona, we have Madison Bumgarner, Mad Bum, on the mound here with a 4.53 ERA, 3.97 at home, and a 1.8 versus Philadelphia. So he is a much better home pitcher than he is on the road, and he has been really good versus Philadelphia. So hopefully he can pitch another masterpiece versus Philadelphia. So that is going to be our third and final play of the day. Philadelphia Phillies and the Diamondbacks under 9 runs at minus 110 odds. So that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Like I said, we are still currently on the road to 7,000 subscribers, and we are actually inching in on it more and more every day. So if you guys are new, make sure that you guys are subbed. But without any further ado, that's going to be it for me. This is King Center signing out. Peace.